Mr. President, I'm certainly disappointed by the senator from Texas objecting to Senator Mikulski, our senior senator from Maryland's request. Senator Mikulski's request is for us to consider two Article III judges that are next in line for consideration on the floor of the United States Senate. They've cleared the committee. They've both been approved by the committee by voice vote, unanimous vote within the Judiciary Committee. I know Paula Zenas, the vacancy to be filled in Maryland of University Park. She joined the law firm of Murphy, Falcon, and Murphy in Baltimore in 2011. She's a senior trial attorney, well qualified to take the seat of the former Chief Justice Deborah Chazanow. She was appointed by President Obama in March of 2015. We are now approaching the one-year anniversary of her appointment. 1 year anniversary for a non-controversial, well-qualified appointment to the district court. Mr. President, let me just talk a little bit about fairness. I hear what the senator from Texas said about the majority leader scheduling the votes on the floor of the Senate, but I think my colleagues should be aware of the facts in regards to filling judicial vacancies. We have completed the confirmation process of 16 Article III judges since the beginning of this term of Congress. Now, the comparable number in the last 2 years of a presidential term, where the president was of the Republican Party and the Senate was controlled by the Democrats, just the opposite of what we have today, was the year 2007 and 2008 under President George W. Bush. The Judiciary Committee was chaired by Chairman Leahy. That year, by March 9th, we had cleared and confirmed 40 judicial appointments, 40 compared to 16 in this Congress. And by the end of the year, we had approved 68 of President Bush's nominees. Going back to the last other time for a Republican president with a Democratic-controlled Senate, President Reagan, in 1987 and 88 under Chairman Biden, by March 9th of the last year, the Senate had confirmed 47 of his nominations compared to 16 this year. And by the end of the year, we had confirmed 85 nominees, including a Supreme Court Justice, Justice Kennedy. Mr. President, we have pending right now on the floor of the Senate that have cleared committees, every single one by voice vote unanimously. We have 12 Article III judges that are ready for action and 5 other judicial appointments for a total of 17. But that's not the whole story. We have 25 nominees that are still pending before the Judiciary Committee, including Stephanie Gallagher of Maryland to fill a vacancy. This is not, Ms. Zenas is not the only vacancy that we have in Maryland. We have now 2 vacancies in Maryland waiting for action by the United States Senate. So there's a matter of fairness here. There's also a matter of respect for the judicial branch of government and allowing the courts to be able to function. And the district court is where most individuals get their justice. That's the trial court. That's the court where most of our citizens will go for their judicial relief. And we have vacancies where appointments have been made which are non-controversial, well-qualified people, and we can't get a vote on the floor of the United States Senate. And my friend from Texas tells me this is the prerogative of the majority leader. It's our responsibility in the Senate to act on these nominations. Senator Mikulski has set up a process in Maryland where we take an interview process to get the very best talent to serve on our courts. I'm honored to work with her as we've gone through this process of trying to find the very best to serve on the courts. How do you expect them to come forward and allow their name to come forward when it takes a year for us to consider a nomination? If you want to get the very best on the courts, we have to act, and we have to be responsible. So let me just say something. We've got to take up these nominations. And I appreciate that we always have a lot of work that we have to do. We got time today to get these nominations done. And I call on the majority leader and I call on my friends to say, look, let's get our court vacancies filled. Let's carry out our responsibility and vote on these nominations.